Hello everyone, welcome to another episode edition thing of Music of the Month, where I take all the albums and music I listened to in the previous month, well, just albums really, and tell you what I thought about them. And we only have 6 albums this year. This month. We haven't only had 6 albums this year, I've had over 100. But before I do start this episode, I want to apologise for yesterday. See, I didn't put up a Fight of the Night review because there wasn't a Fight of the Night to speak of, so got away with that. But also, yeah, basically the reason I posted my top 10 albums I didn't post the top 10 albums. I just posted the 10 albums I like the most. It's up to you to scramble them and see if you get the right order, because I've got the right order. Yeah, I know what it's going to be. But yeah, so I basically put that up on Facebook and on Discord because I wanted to make up for not having a video up yesterday. So consider it sort of a weird apology. But yeah, I've only got 6 albums to talk about for November. Only one of them was not in November, so want to remember, and yeah, rhymes. Let's see. Well, I'll save the announcements, like, sort of thing, after I'm done. So let's actually start this. So first of all, we have All That Remains with a Victim of the New Disease, and I'm really glad that they've made a good album, because Madness last year was so boring, and the couple albums before that were okay, nothing great. Madness was just shite, but Victim of the New Disease is really, really good. Like, it's just super heavy, and like the thing that people were complaining about had been missing for like the better part of a decade from All That Remains. As someone who's only got into them in 2012, like, I could see where people come from, because yeah, but still, Victim of the New Disease is a pretty solid album and just really, really good, and completely took me by surprise. Next is Anna's Okay, and I hope I'm saying that right, with their album Arms. This is my first album by them. This one is the one not in November, as it came out in August. And they're a metalcore band from Germany. And a friend of mine named Blue Patch showed me the song Escalators by them. I think that's what it's called. And it's like a compilation of live footage. And I liked the band beforehand because I thought the song was really good. But the thing that sort of made me fall for them was the screaming singer wearing a Happy Rusev Day shirt. So I was like, yeah, I actually quite like these guys a bit more now. So yeah, I never really listened to them before. And I thought their album was pretty good, pretty solid stuff. Yeah, just another solid piece of metal in 2018, and a year where we've had some surprisingly good metal. I will admit, like, we've had some really, really good challenges to the metal genre, especially the metalcore genre. So yeah, it was just a really, really good piece, and is okay. I'm going to look forward to other stuff by them really soon. So yeah, next is Architects with Holy Hell. Let me try that again. Next is Architects with Holy Hell. Sorry about that. For those who have seen my 10 albums of the year list, this album is actually on that list. It's just really good. I mean, I'm really glad that my friend Scott Powell, who gets me into a lot of metal on Facebook from time to time, I'm glad he told me to do these for a backtracking episode a couple of years ago, and they're probably one of my favourite bands right now. I really, really like them. They do some really, really good stuff. And Holy Hell is no exception. I mean, you think that would be difficult for them to carry on, considering that there's no involvement from Tom Sell, God rest his soul, on this album, but they're proving that they're still going strong. I mean, they've come so far in such a short amount of time as well, in just those 2 years since that happened. So yeah, I mean, it does sound kind of sympathetic and soppy, but the band are making waves, more so now than ever, and I'm really, really glad to see that. Next is another British band. It's Muse with Simulation Theory, and yeah, once again, much like Victim of the New Disease, this one surprised me with how decent it is. The last 2 albums, like my first one in full by them was The Second Law, which I thought was pretty good, and Drones was, the less said about that, the better. But Simulation Theory was nice to have them go back and be a little bit happier, you know. Still talk about the thing that they talk about, but not taking it so seriously anymore, because that's what made them work in the first place. And it was nice to see them discovering that. And yeah, it's just a fun, vibrant album. Not as heavy as previous stuff, but it's not supposed to be. It's a bit lighter. It doesn't take itself seriously, and it works because of that. So yeah, I just quite enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun, and good work from Muse. Next is POD with Circles, and much like The Awakening last year, this album was just really, really good. It's basically sort of like The Awakening, but sort of stepped up and without the concepts in The Awakening. But yeah, I still like Circles. I still thought it was a solid album. Yeah, I mean, by this point, I think POD can just make albums like this for as long as they keep going, and change the formula a little bit every now and then. I think they found like their niche now, more now than ever, and really, really good to see that they're not falling behind. They're still pumping out heavy stuff. They're still pumping out like their mixture of sounds and everything. Sorry, I'm looking at my cat sleeping on my bed and he's being cute. And yep, he heard me. He's here flickered. But yeah, it was just really, really cool. The album's just really good, and if you can find and listen to it, which you can, because POD are a fairly popular band, so it's not difficult to find their music. Find, not fight. I don't know if they fight, but yeah, POD, Circles, good stuff. And the last album we have to cover is probably the only one I haven't. Well, I was going to say the only one I haven't talked about besides and is okay. It's Shattered Skies and Muted Neon, and I first became familiar with these a couple of years ago from a wrestling company which was back then known as WCPW. It's now called Defiant, and one of the wrestlers back then was a dude named Joseph Connors, and he came out to the Shattered Skies song called, I think, 15 Minutes or something. And it's a really good song, and it's probably my favourite theme still in WCPW, even though Joseph doesn't really wrestle for them anymore. I don't think he does. I haven't seen him do it in a while. But yeah, he was one of my favourite wrestlers, and this theme was a big part of that. And even though that song is not on Muted Neon is still a really good gent metal album from a really good British gent metal band. Yeah, half of this list is British. We got one German band, two American bands, and three British ones for this segment. So yeah, Muted Neon, just solid piece of work. It's definitely worth finding out if you're a fan of like Architects or a fan of Black Pigs, who put out a pretty good album in October as well, with All That Divides. It's sort of in that realm of metal, but with the gent, there's a little bit more experimentation and a few more twists. So it's very important to keep that in mind. But still, I really enjoyed this album. It was a lot of fun, and I can't really fault anything about it. So that does technically officially do it for the episode. But there are a few announcements I want to get out of the way first. So, there is a UFC event on tonight. I'm not going to be able to review the fight of the night until Wednesday because I've got to babysit for a couple of days. And hopefully on the third. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to get it done on Thursday because I'm supposed to be doing something else on Thursday. Next Saturday possibly could be my top 10 albums of the year list. I know I'm getting it done early, but I've said it before. I said it before. The last album out in like this year that I can think of is out on the 21st, and I like Real Big Fish. I just don't see them getting on that list, I'm afraid. And I've already written the list. I've already written all the honorable mentions as well, and yeah, there's not really a lot else I can do, so sorry. But yeah, that list is hopefully going to come next Saturday. I'll see you all for that. Oh, crap, next Saturday. No, it will be next Saturday, because normally UFC events are on Saturdays. Next Saturday is the 8th, I believe. Yeah, it is the 8th, so, new album, albums of the year list, then the next Fight of the Night review the day after, if there is Fight of the Night to speak of. And that's pretty much it for the announcements. I'm just playing with one of my coasters for some reason, I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you all pretty soon for when that happens, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you Wednesday if there's a Fight of the Night to review. So, stuff is still coming. Obviously, December's usually when I take a bit of a break anyway, because it's the month of Christmas. You know, I mean, you gotta have fun. So, I'll see you all for that. Thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.